In this training, I want to cover a few more insights and tools on how this process works around the concept of clearing and integrating energy. So, if you've watched the first training, you'll have seen that there's a very structured mindset technique process that we go through in the coaching session. And it's very much based around the unconscious mind. What I want to share with you here in this training is also how we take on board or release negative emotions and patterns from our actual subconscious body. And a perfect example of how we take on board conditioning or energetic patterns. Give you the example, maybe you went through something like this when you were a kid. Maybe you were outside playing and there was a dog, you ran away, you hurt yourself, dad came out, got angry, then mum came out and they got angry at each other because of, you hurting yourself and dad being angry, and maybe then the neighbor came out and like it was a whole thing. And in that moment, you probably took on board more than you realized at an unconscious level because of the intensity, the emotional and energetic intensity of that situation. And that's how the unconscious mind learns, through intensity and repetition. That's how back there we remember things and build, oh, this is what life's about. This is, I guess, how I operate. This is how I relate. This is how I do life. This is how I do family. Maybe this is how I build my own new relationships and communities. Maybe this is how I build business. So, in that moment, maybe you as a child, and if it's not this exact situation, I'm sure you've had intense moments or repetitional moments of unpleasant situations as a child, which led us to having this conversation, probably in doing these sessions, because there's something in the way. What we want to look at is maybe as a child in that moment, in many other situations, in that moment, maybe you needed a hug. Maybe you needed mum and dad to be like, hey, we love you. We were just scared. Maybe, you needed to be able to express yourself and say, I need a hug. I need some food. Why didn't you lock the gate? I'm a kid. Who knows? Maybe we didn't know at that time that dad just got fired. Maybe we don't know that something happened to mum as well. Maybe there's something that happened to the neighbor, and everyone at that moment, it was the perfect storm for you to learn that it's not safe to be yourself and ask for what you need. And that the only way to get love and be a part of a family and have relationships is to shut the fuck up and just do as you're told and not worry about what you really need, because no one was advocating for you in that moment, even though they were probably doing their own thing, the best with what they've got, and love you. Who knows? And let's say then that the intensity of that, if you really sit with the intensity of that, like for a kid, 3, 4, 5 years old or younger or older, it's pretty intense. It's a lot of learnings and lessons to take on board. And then storing all of that energy, the fear, the anger, the shame, the guilt, the frustration, the confusion, the overwhelm, it goes in and gets trapped. And so, what we're doing here is we're going to look at, given the goal you've got, and we're going to uncover the challenge and then release a negative emotion, probably from childhood, which seemingly has no relationship to the current goal or challenge in the current life or external world. And what we're going to do is, other than the coaching process from the first training there, is we're going to use sound, breath, and movement to actually release this energy out of your body. And that might look like yawning, breathing, sighing, like it could be screaming in a pillow. It might be getting a punching bag or a pillow and punching the anger out from a grounded and intentional place. The reason why we do this is because that's how it's stored. That's how we need to also sometimes release it intentionally in a safe and healthy, guided way. So just like when we're happy, we laugh. When we're sad, we cry. When we're angry, we might yell or freeze up. We want to undo that. We want to release that out of the body. So that's why breath work has such profound effects, because you're breathing, you're sighing, there's sound, there's movement. Just sitting up in our chairs can have a completely different um, experience for us. So using sound, breath, and movement, that's how we're going to clear energy, trapped energy out with the coaching process, and you'll actually be able to do this outside of it more and more in day-to-day life in safe, controlled, intentional ways, uh, usually privately, and even there are some ways you can do this in public. Um, Very good for releasing stress or negativity or negative trapped emotions and energy. So once we've covered that, there's the coaching process, the story about the dog, sound, breath, and movement. The final bit that we're going to be working on, which is basically a map, still also a tool in ways, is we're going to be working on the 5 bodies. Now, this concept, the 5 bodies, it's energy is not just stored necessarily physically. When we're doing this deep inner work, we're going to be working not just on your physical body, but also your emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual layers of your being, so that when we release something, it's not just going to be an emotional or energetic, it might be a physical release, or there might be a spiritual element to it or a mental component to it. With these 5 bodies, using sound, breath, and movement, plus the mindset process from the coaching process, we're going to be throwing everything we've got at resolving whatever challenge has been in the way for you achieving your goal, or stopping doing something that's not really helpful for you. And that's going to create a lot of space and a lot more wholeness, a lot more peace and groundedness, not just like for making more money, but in day-to-day life as well, because it's a holistic approach. So at the end of a session, after we've done the coaching process, the mindset techniques, use sound, breath, and movement, and release things not just from your unconscious mind, but your subconscious body, we're going to set an integration task, maybe 2 or 3. And the integration tasks are going to help you uh, basically, because the purpose of personal development is to take positive and empowered action uh, in alignment towards your vision and your goals and your values, without all of that emotional baggage in the way. So what we might do is, I've mentioned this in the first training there, to integrate on a physical level, you might need to go for a walk, or you might need to do a workout. You might need to throw something in the bin that you don't need anymore. That could be a physical thing, or that could be an energetic thing. You might need to meditate or prayer. That could be a spiritual integration step. Um, you might do some journaling. That might be a mental integration on the mental body. You might go and get a massage, which could be physical, energetic. It depends. If you do Reiki, that's very energetic. Singing can be an amazing way to integrate your voice, your expression energetically. It could be having a conversation with somebody. So I will give you these tasks based on what comes up in the session. So right now, there's nothing for you to really do. Just knowing that there's a coaching process. We're going to be working with sound, breath, and movement to release and clear trapped energy or emotions or beliefs or patterns, and to make the shift stick. So it become the positive integration of what we're working on here becomes a part of you. There will be action steps to help, because we become what we do over and over and over. And it's by just like with the child with the unconscious mind, the intensity or the repetition. By doing this work, we can release the negative intensity and start taking micro and then bigger and then massive steps to integrate and embody the positive emotions and empowering decisions that'll help you become more of your true self. And when then you're being your true self and you're on a true life target, that's when the magic really happens. That's when you hit your goals effortlessly. That's when everything clicks and you're like, how did that happen? And it's because you've moved to alignment and you've raised your vibration energetically. So that covers pretty much everything. We're just about ready now to jump into the first session. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, I am pumped to get into this with you. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.